Tourism promises excitement and escape, but sometimes it leads to unthinkable tragedy. In this video, we'll uncover 5 more real stories of vacations gone horribly wrong, where adventure turned into disaster and lives were lost in ways that shocked the world. It was May 12, 2023, on Chacahua Island in Oaxaca, Mexico. The island, known for its peaceful beaches and welcoming atmosphere, had always been a favorite among travelers. But on this day, something tragic happened that no one could have expected. Benjamin Gamond, a 23-year-old from Cordoba, Argentina, was traveling through Mexico with his 2 friends, Santiago Lastra, 22, and Macarena Gonzalez, 29. The group had recently been in Tulum before arriving on the island just a day earlier, excited to explore the area. That afternoon, they finished their meal at a beachside restaurant, completely unaware that danger was moments away. As they were leaving, a man suddenly attacked them. He was later identified as 21-year-old Irving Martinez Flores. He carried a machete, a common tool in the area, but this time it was used as a weapon. Without warning, he struck Benjamin in the head and face with extreme force. Santiago and Macarena, in shock, rushed to help their friend. In the struggle, both were injured. Santiago suffered a fractured hand, while Macarena received deep wounds on her back. Despite their injuries, they managed to escape with their lives. But Benjamin, who had suffered severe head trauma, was in critical condition. Emergency responders arrived quickly, rushing Benjamin to a nearby hospital. However, his injuries were too severe for local treatment, and he was airlifted to Mexico City. Doctors did everything they could, but 3 days later, on May 15th, Benjamin passed away. The attack left the Chacahua community in shock. The island had always been known as a safe place, where locals and visitors felt comfortable, even leaving their doors unlocked at night. No one could understand how such an act of violence had happened there. Authorities soon arrested Martinez. Strangely, he had met the group the day before on the same boat to the island. He introduced himself as a surf instructor and seemed friendly. The next day, when Benjamin asked about renting surfboards, something changed. Witnesses recalled Martinez staring at Benjamin with hostility, as if he didn't recognize him. Then, without explanation, he attacked. Witnesses heard him shouting strange phrases, seemingly accusing others of being sent after him. His words made no sense, and his motive remained unclear. Benjamin's family and friends were devastated. He was well loved in his hometown and known for his kind and adventurous spirit. He had traveled to Mexico not just to explore but also to work as a waiter, something he had done before. He dreamed of experiencing different cultures and places. But that dream was tragically cut short. As news of his passing spread, tributes poured in. His older brother Facundo traveled to Mexico to be by his side in his final moments and expressed his grief, honoring him as a hero. Benjamin's rugby club, Tala Rugby, also shared their sorrow and support for his family. For Macarena and Santiago, the experience changed their lives forever. They had fought to protect their friend, suffered injuries, and witnessed something they would never forget. Macarena's father later revealed that she had thrown herself at the attacker to stop him, risking her own life. She managed to escape and run for help, but by then, the damage had been done. Authorities in Oaxaca took over the investigation. Martinez was charged with aggravated homicide. Police confirmed that he had no known ties to the Chacahua community and had arrived on the island looking for work. Some reports suggested his erratic behavior may have been influenced by substance use, but the exact reason for the attack remains unknown. The case gained media attention, raising concerns about tourist safety in Mexico. Many questioned how such an unprovoked attack could happen in a place known for its peaceful atmosphere. Despite their grief, the Gamond family honored Benjamin's final wish. Before his passing, he had expressed a desire to help others through organ donation. In a final act of generosity, his family agreed to donate 7 of his organs, giving others a second chance at life. Benjamin's story is heartbreaking. He was a young man full of dreams, kindness, and adventure. His death left a lasting impact on those who knew him, and his loved ones are left wondering, what if he had never met Martinez? What if he had chosen a different place to visit? Would this have been avoided? While those questions may never be answered, his memory lives on. He is remembered not just for his tragic end, but for his kindness, his adventurous spirit, and the lives he helped save even after he was gone. It was December 21st, 2024, in Marsa Alam, Egypt. Gianluca Di Gioia, a 48-year-old Italian diplomat, was vacationing with his friend, 69-year-old Giuseppe Fapani. The two had traveled to Egypt to celebrate Di Gioia's birthday. They were staying at the Red Sea Sataya Resort, a popular spot known for its coral reefs and clear waters. Wanting to explore the sea, they decided to go snorkeling. The men swam about 50 meters from shore just outside the coral reef, a common area for tourists looking for a better view of marine life. The waters there were not known for dangerous encounters, but it was beyond the usual safe swimming zones. As they enjoyed the experience, something completely unexpected happened. A large tiger shark suddenly appeared and moved toward them. Di Gioia was the first to react, shouting for help. At first, Fapani thought his friend was struggling with the current, but the reality was far worse. The shark had targeted Di Gioia. In a desperate attempt to help, Fapani swam toward him. However, before he could reach his friend, the shark turned on him. It bit into his legs, pulling him beneath the water. Fapani fought back, pushing and kicking, trying to break free. The struggle felt endless. Eventually, he managed to escape, but not without serious injuries. Bleeding and exhausted, he swam toward the shore. On the pier, their wives, Lawrence and Fapani's spouse, watched in horror. They had seen the men swim out, but were now witnessing a nightmare unfold. Lawrence screamed for help, and resort staff rushed to launch a small boat. By the time rescuers reached Fapani, he was barely conscious. He was pulled onto the boat and rushed to safety. Sadly, Di Gioia did not make it. As Fapani struggled back to shore, the shark remained near Di Gioia. The women could only watch helplessly as the tragedy unfolded. Within moments, Di Gioia disappeared beneath the water, and there was nothing anyone could do. Both men were rushed to a hospital in Port Galib, about 30 miles from the resort. Doctors worked quickly, but Di Gioia's injuries were too severe. He passed away shortly after arriving. Fapani, though badly wounded, survived. His recovery was uncertain at first, given the extent of his injuries. The news of the incident shocked the community. Shark encounters in that area are rare, especially during the winter months. Authorities, including Egypt's Ministry of the Environment and the Red Sea Governorate, launched an investigation. They wanted to understand why the attack had happened, given that the region was usually safe for swimmers. As a precaution, officials temporarily closed off the waters near the attack site. They also reviewed the resort's safety guidelines to determine if additional protective measures were needed. Despite surviving, Fapani was deeply shaken. In a call with his daughter, Christina, he described how he tried to fight off the shark to save his friend, but was unable to. The memory of that moment, he said, would stay with him forever. Di Gioia had been working for the European External Action Service, or EEAS, and was living in France. He had come to Egypt with his wife, son, and several friends for a holiday celebration. But the trip ended in unimaginable loss. Colleagues and loved ones remembered him as a kind and dedicated person whose life was cut short unexpectedly. The Italian embassy in Cairo stepped in to support Di Gioia's family. Meanwhile, discussions about improving safety in tourist areas gained attention. Experts examined whether environmental changes, such as overfishing or increased human activity, could have contributed to the shark's behavior. The tragedy also drew comparisons to a similar incident in June 2023. In a nearby area, 23-year-old Russian tourist Vladimir Popov lost his life in another shark encounter. In that case, too, onlookers could do nothing but watch. The similarities between the two incidents raised concerns about the unpredictability of these encounters in the Red Sea. For Di Gioia's family, the loss was unbearable. What was meant to be a joyful celebration turned into heartbreak. His wife and son, still in shock, received care from their tour operator and embassy officials. As investigations continued, experts debated whether stronger safety measures could prevent future attacks. Could this tragedy have been avoided? Was it due to environmental changes, human activity, or simply an unfortunate encounter with nature? These are difficult questions, but one thing is certain. The sudden loss of Gianluca Di Gioia left a deep impact on his loved ones and the community. It was November 6, 2024, in the mountainous region of Uzbekistan when a landslide caused a tragic accident, claiming 3 lives, including 2 Hungarian tourists. The incident occurred on the Kitob-Samarkand road near the Taktakaracha Pass, a route known for its breathtaking views but also its unpredictable dangers. On that day, a group of travelers was navigating this rugged road, which cuts through Uzbekistan's Kashkadarya province. Among them were 2 Hungarian tourists traveling in a Chevrolet Cobalt. The road, surrounded by towering cliffs and steep drops, is notorious for being challenging due to unstable weather and shifting terrain. Despite the risks, no one anticipated the disaster that would unfold. Without warning, a large boulder, loosened by unstable earth, crashed onto the road. The massive rock struck the Chevrolet Cobalt with devastating force, crushing the vehicle completely. The impact left no chance of survival for those inside. Rescue teams arrived promptly, but the scene was grim. The vehicle was destroyed beyond recognition and 3 people lost their lives instantly: 2 Hungarian tourists and their Uzbek driver. Authorities later identified the victims, and the Hungarian embassy in Uzbekistan expressed condolences to the grieving families, assuring them that arrangements would be made to return the victims' remains to Hungary. Following the tragedy, the Uzbek government launched an investigation to determine the cause of the landslide. Experts examined the site, looking into whether recent weather patterns or the region's natural instability played a role. This was not the first landslide in the Taktakaracha Pass, which is prone to rockfalls due to its unstable geological conditions. Despite its scenic beauty, the pass has long been considered dangerous. For the Hungarian tourists, their trip to Uzbekistan was meant to be an adventure. Instead, their lives were cut short unexpectedly, leaving their families to cope with an unimaginable loss. Local officials urged travelers to remain cautious when driving on mountainous roads, emphasizing that nature is often unpredictable and some dangers cannot be foreseen. The victims were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, with no way to avoid the disaster. The immense power of nature changed their fate in a matter of seconds. As the investigation continued, experts studied the area's geological activity, noting how the region's shifting earth made it difficult to predict future landslides. Authorities began discussions about improving safety measures to reduce the risks for future travelers. The Uzbek embassy in Hungary also addressed the incident, emphasizing how rare but unpredictable such natural events are. They reiterated that geological changes can happen without warning, reminding people of the ever-changing nature of the Earth. Many questions about the tragedy remain unanswered. Could a different route or a smaller landslide have changed the outcome? Unfortunately, such questions can never truly be resolved. A passerby captured video footage of the aftermath, showing the crushed car and blocked road. Although the actual moment of impact wasn't recorded, the destruction made it clear just how powerful the landslide had been. Local authorities are now considering ways to improve safety on the Taktakaracha Pass, which has long been known to locals as a hazardous area. Travelers unfamiliar with the region often remain unaware of the risks, which has prompted discussions about implementing better warnings or protective measures to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The loss of 3 lives deeply affected not only their families, but also the local community. Those familiar with the region understand its dangers, but for the victims, this knowledge came too late. This tragic incident is a reminder of how unpredictable and uncontrollable nature can be, turning an ordinary day into a life-altering event in an instant. On November 8, 2024, 15-year-old Jenna Chan lost her life during a school trip to the Maldives. She was part of a week-long educational excursion with classmates from St. Joseph's International Institution, a private school in Singapore. Their goal was to assist the Maldives Whale Shark Research Program, a unique opportunity to learn about marine life. But what was supposed to be an unforgettable experience ended in tragedy. Jenna, a British-Singaporean dual citizen, was known for her kindness and warmth. She was the heart of her family, described by her parents, Alan Chan and Jennifer Liao, as their sunshine. She had a close bond with her older sister, Alice, and dreamed of becoming a geriatrician. Her love for marine life made this trip particularly exciting for her. On the day of the accident, Jenna and her classmates went snorkeling in a popular area between the Lux Maldives Resort and Didu in South Ari Atoll. Shortly after entering the water, something went wrong. The boat's engine was started, and as it reversed, the propeller struck Jenna. Witnesses described the scene as horrific. Jenna was pulled under, suffering severe injuries. Despite immediate rescue efforts, it was too late. She was rushed to a nearby health center, but there was nothing doctors could do. Her classmates, who had seen the entire event unfold, were left in shock. Jenna's family was devastated by the loss, but their pain was made worse by unanswered questions about what really happened that day. According to her parents, there has been little transparency regarding the incident. One of their biggest concerns is the lack of a formal investigation. Maldivian authorities did not conduct a post-mortem examination, and there are no official witness statements from the teachers or students present. This lack of information has left the family feeling as though no real effort has been made to find the truth. Another source of frustration was the school's strict no-phone policy during the trip. This meant Jenna's parents had no way to communicate with her, and they deeply regretted not being able to say goodbye. The policy also prevented them from learning about the accident until much later. Jenna's parents believed that multiple safety failures contributed to their daughter's death. Reports suggest the boat's engine was started while students were still in the water, a dangerous oversight that led to the fatal accident. The family questions whether better precautions could have saved her life. Jenna's older sister, Alice, has taken an active role in seeking justice for her. She launched a GoFundMe campaign to help cover legal costs as the family pushes for a full investigation. The fundraiser has gained widespread support, raising nearly £5,000 of its £10,000 goal. The money is being used to hire Maldivian lawyers to pursue legal action. In her message on the GoFundMe page, Alice expressed her family's shock and frustration, stating that the circumstances of Jenna's passing and the lack of accountability have been deeply troubling. She hopes their fight will not only bring justice for Jenna, but also prevent similar tragedies from happening in the future. Despite their efforts, Jenna's family has received little communication from Maldivian authorities. The companies and organizations involved have remained largely silent, adding to their distress. The lack of answers has left them struggling to come to terms with their loss. On November 15, 2024, Jenna was laid to rest in Singapore. Her family and friends gathered to say their final goodbyes, heartbroken by her sudden passing. But their grief is mixed with a sense of injustice. They still don't know the full truth about what happened to their daughter. Jenna's passing raises important concerns about safety measures during excursions like this one. Why was the boat's engine started while students were still in the water? Were proper safety protocols followed? Could Jenna have been saved if the situation had been handled differently? The family also questions the Maldivian authorities' lack of action. Could a proper investigation have revealed more about what really happened? Would stronger oversight have held the responsible parties accountable? For now, Jenna's family continues to fight for answers. They refuse to let her memory fade without justice. While they mourn their loss, they also hope their efforts will lead to change, preventing another family from experiencing the same heartbreak. The investigation remains ongoing, and for the Chan family, the wait for the truth continues. On October 16, 2024, Nilesh Mukhi, a 59-year-old man from Kolkata, India, was on vacation in Bali with his wife Kavita. They had traveled to Nusa Penida, a small island famous for its stunning scenery and breathtaking beaches. That day, they visited Angel's Billabong, a natural infinity pool surrounded by cliffs. The site was popular among tourists looking for picturesque views, but it also had a dangerous reputation. While beautiful, Angel's Billabong was known for its unpredictable waves. Locals often warned visitors about the strong currents, calling it a dangerous spot. Large waves could suddenly crash against the cliffs, posing serious risks to anyone standing too close to the edge. Unaware of the danger, Nilesh and Kavita posed for photos near the cliffside. The full moon that night had caused the tide to be unusually high, making the waters even more dangerous. As they took pictures, their driver, who had been assisting them, noticed how close they were to the edge. Concerned, he warned them to step back. But before they could react, a massive wave hit the cliff with tremendous force, knocking Nilesh into the sea. Kavita was also pulled in but managed to survive with minor injuries. Despite efforts to reach him, Nilesh was swept away by the strong currents. Authorities were alerted immediately. The Indonesian Navy and local police launched a search operation, scouring the waters near Angel's Billabong. Sadly, the following day, Nilesh's body was found floating near Nusa Dua, approximately 12 miles from where he had fallen. It was a heartbreaking outcome for his family and the travel community, where he was a respected professional. This tragedy was not the first at Angel's Billabong. The area has claimed several lives over the years. In 2018, a Chinese tourist was swept away while attempting to take a selfie. In 2016, an Australian couple was caught by a sudden wave. The husband survived, but his wife was lost to the sea. In 2017, a New Zealand tourist disappeared while trying to save his girlfriend, who had been pulled into the water. The steep, slippery cliffs and unexpected waves made Angel's Billabong incredibly dangerous. During high tides, the risks increased, yet many tourists ignored safety warnings, eager to capture the perfect photo. Nilesh had worked in the travel industry for over 30 years and was a treasurer for Skal International, a global network of travel professionals. His death deeply affected his colleagues, who expressed their condolences and support for his grieving family. He left behind his wife, Kavita, and their two sons, Gaurav and Yash, who were heartbroken by his sudden passing. For Kavita, the pain of witnessing her husband being taken by the waves would remain with her forever. Similar tragedies have occurred worldwide, with tourists losing their lives while taking photos in dangerous locations. Incidents include falls from cliffs, slips from ledges, and drownings near rough waters. These events sparked discussions on stricter safety measures, prompting travel agencies to warn clients about high-risk areas. For Nilesh's colleagues, his passing was a painful reminder that even experienced travelers are not immune to danger. What if Nilesh and Kavita had stepped back when warned? What if more tourists understood the risks before visiting places like Angel's Billabong? Would these tragedies still happen if people valued safety over the perfect photograph? These questions offer no comfort to the families who have lost loved ones in similar accidents. But they do serve as a reminder of the importance of caution and awareness when exploring nature's most breathtaking yet unpredictable places.